What is up, guys? In today's video, I wanted to discuss a question that I get asked a lot. Should I get a newer flagship phone and spend a whole bunch of money, or should I get an older flagship phone? And that is something that I preach on this channel a lot, is how great these older flagship phones are. Even if you're an Apple fan, they have a lot of benefits even with the iPhones. So I just want to talk about some of the benefits with these phones, a couple of reasons why. I try to break it down to 5. And so one of my favorite reasons is the price point. These phones are crazy cheap right now, so you can get a phone that is a budget phone like the $200 224 right now, Redmi Note 8 Pro, and you can get something like the LG G7 for cheap, which is pretty crazy. So around the same price, if not cheaper, on Amazon right now. I'll try to put the links down below, but that is crazy. And the prices on these phones have gone down dramatically, and even if you're not an LG fan, that is the same for the Galaxy and the OnePlus smartphones as well, the 6T, the 7. They have gone down dramatically in price. And that is just excellent. That's one of the things I just really love, is how cheap these phones are and how great they are. So that would be the next thing, would be specs. So if I compare something to let's do the G7 to the A51. So again, around the same price. If you want to get this new, they're going to be around the same price. The G7 cheaper, this is like $289. This would be like $230 or $250 something new. But again, as you can see, spec wise, you're going to have a heavy spec list on the G7 as opposed to a phone that's going to cost you the same. So one of the big differences is performance on here. The Snapdragon 845 versus the Exynos chip in here is just going to be way better, even though this is an older phone. That's what a lot of people don't understand. So you'll be able to play Fortnite, PUBG, Call of Duty Mobile on high settings. You will not be able to do that on the A51. Even though I really love this phone, it has a great place in sort of like the budget smartphone lineup. It's just not going to be a G7 at all. You got IP rating on here as well, and you have a 1440p display on the G7, and you have a 1080p display on most of these budget phones at this price point. If you've never seen a 1440p display, it is really nice, very crystal clear, especially with the high PPI. Usually you'll have wireless charging on these older flagships as well, so you're gonna have everything. IP rating you really won't find on these mid-range or budget smartphones. So that is one of the things. Specs, if you're really into specs, you can't really go wrong with phones like the G7, Galaxy S9, OnePlus 6T. They're going to be really spec heavy. Alright, next would be hardware. What a lot of these budget phones have in common is that they're plastic phones. So take the A51 and G8 Power. They're plastic phones as compared to like a 6T or the G8 or something like that. They're glass and metal, with one exception, which this is a glass phone, but it's got a plastic railing, so it's still not glass and metal. But this is one of the rare exceptions. But most of these budget phones are going to be plastic phones, and they do not feel anywhere near as premium as something like glass and metal to the touch. So that is a big difference right there. Is hardware. You're still getting really solid hardware with these older phones, which is something that I really love. Also, I think next would be software support. So they do a really good job of software support. The Galaxy S9 and the LG G7 phones like that, the G8, have gotten Android, this one is not even on, but have gotten Android 10, which is awesome. And I expect at least the G8, I'm not sure about the G7, to get Android 11 as well. Now, I'm not sure about the Galaxy S lineup, the S9 and Note 9, but yeah, having the latest version of Android on these older phones, especially like something like the V35, which I didn't think was going to get it, but they gave it to it, and it breathed a lot of life into these phones. So you can definitely go into the rest of this year and 2021 even with these phones, and they'll be perfectly fine and fast. It's one of the things that I really love about these phones, is that they got the latest version of Android. Now it takes a minute. It's not going to be as fast as this will probably get Android 11 faster than the G8, so it really just depends on the company. But that is one of the things I really love. Software support on these phones is still going to be pretty solid because they are flagship phones and they can support the latest version. Not only that, but there is a bigger community since these phones have been out of people who know all of the problems with the phone already from when it first launched. So you will be aware of that as opposed to something that just came out. And also you can get custom ROMs on these phones if you want to root. A lot of people ask me, do I root? I haven't rooted since I think back in high school. I bricked the phone and I just haven't done it since. But yeah, you can install custom ROMs and stuff like that, and that is a really awesome thing as well. So you get a really nice experience if you're into, you know, all of the like nerdy stuff. Next would be cameras. So if you look at something like the V60, if you check out my comparisons that I've done, even with the V35 and the V50, or the V50 is not really that old, but stuff like the V35 and even the G7 with Gcam can compete with the V60, which I think has an excellent camera. Now, do I think those cameras are better? No, I think the V60 definitely has a really nice camera. I think the improvements that they made were really solid, but my thing is that it's competitive and it's very close. So that is one of the things. Camera quality is still going to be good on phones like the G8. I will have that comparison out soon, but yeah, phones like the G7 and V35 for cheap are going to do much better than even the mid-range phones. The Galaxy A51 actually a lot much better. If you compare this is very popular, the Redmi Note 8 is very popular, the G8 Power, those phones have great cameras, but these are still going to be better, especially like I said, if you install Gcam. If you don't know, please check out my video on how to install that. It makes a huge difference, guys. I'm telling you, it does. It makes a gigantic difference in color accuracy and dynamic range. Alright guys, and that's pretty much it. So I'm a big advocate on saving money and trying to get the best deal, and I definitely think, you know, if you got the money and you want to buy the, you know, the Galaxy S20 Ultra, if you're a phone guy, but don't think you need to spend $1,200 to be able to have you know, an excellent smartphone. The G8, like I said, G7, I love the LG phones, as you can tell, but even some older flagships like the Pixel, the iPhone X is one of my favorite iPhones still. It's still a really great phone. And one of the great things about this is software updates with these phones, these older iPhones, is going to be excellent. So I expect this phone to at least get iOS, it's going to get 14, but 14, 15, if not 16. That's how, you know, powerful and that's how good Apple has been with the software support. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.